There's nothing in football quite like the Labor Day Classic at Taylor Field when the Blue Bombers and the Roughriders get together. And for some reason on this day, these two teams hate each other just a little bit more than usual.
The first Labor Day Classic, and it wasn't dubbed as such at the time, was on September 5th, 1949. Winnipeg was here. Roughriders won 20-0. There was a sellout crowd, a then record at Taylor Field, 7,500 people. It was a very, very dominant game by the Roughriders, obviously winning 20-0, and it didn't really establish a foothold for that game being an annual event. I think it just evolved over time, but if you look at the post-Second World War history, that was the first Roughrider Bomber game on Labor Day weekend, and so that was defined as the first, and now we are talking about the 60th.
Well, and I'll tell you what the reason is, John. I played in 11 Labor Day Classics, and I remember something about every one of those games because of the fans in Taylor Field for this afternoon. It's always a wild atmosphere. It's more like a U.S. college atmosphere here in Taylor Field. Excellent game to play in. Everybody in the locker room, both sides of the field, get pumped up for this game, and this is one that they all enjoy playing. It's a turning point of the season as well, and down the stretch run for the playoff.
The actual term Labor Day Classic, I didn't see it used until 1988 in a newspaper ad in the Regina Leader-Post. And that title sort of gradually caught on. But there really wasn't an official label or any reference to it in that context that I can recall. It was Winnipeg most of the time, but Edmonton would play here some Labor Day weekends. Montreal made actually quite a few appearances, etc. BC. And then in '82, for reasons that remain unclear, that became the start of Roughriders versus Winnipeg perennially. In 1981, Montreal was here. In 1976, the BC Lions were here. So you go back to 1975, Winnipeg was here. 77, there were Winnipeg games more often than not, but there were those exceptions, and I'm not sure why after '82 it just became a given that Winnipeg would be here. But I think we can make some assumptions. Given the rivalry between the teams, the proximity between the cities, I think it just made a lot of sense. And the '82 game was so good, and the '83 game was so good, the '84 game was so good. It just kept building on each other in terms of the caliber of game. And now you don't even think twice. It's just going to be Roughriders versus Winnipeg one weekend, Roughriders in Winnipeg the next. But it took a long time for it to get to that point. But once it did, it's become a phenomenon.
Durant, there it is! Touchdown! Ty Smith! The mosaic leap!
I think there's something really magical and unpredictable about that game that draws people to it for reasons that go beyond tradition, go beyond win-loss records, etc. It's just that buzz, that feeling you get, and so I think that's played a role in the game being as magnetic a happening as it has evolved into.
I don't think tonight that this city will sleep. You think this city is gonna have a bit of a party tonight?
I think one of the cool things about this game, it always has that Grey Cup feel in September, or in some cases, such as this year, late August. You just feel like you're going to something that's monumental, that could be memorable, and I think that contributes to that type of crowd. I think there's many years the crowd could have reached or exceeded 44,910 had the seats been there, because there's just such a demand for it and such an appeal to it.
Anything goes, Glenn. Anything goes on Labor Day. Teams struggle, they come in here, they can play like world champions.
Zarka, one way. It'll be Butler again. Touchdown Riders. Hit Brian Robertson on first down. Butler to roll out right. He's got Cedric Shaw. Can he get to the outside? He's still on his feet. Down inside. Touchdown Riders.
Why not? Give it to him. That was excellent. He reached. You see that effort? That's instinct, baby. That's Hofstra all the way.
Butler down the quarterback. Tennessee. He's open.
Milwaukee.
Butler. Touchdown Riders.
Hey, Glenn, they wanted to contain him, but they gutted him right in the middle where you saw that hole, buddy.
His third rushing touchdown of the game, and the fans are loving it.
You look at 2002, and Roughriders started Rocky Butler, a quarterback, he was a 4-string quarterback at one point in the season. He started in the Labor Day Classic against Winnipeg, rushed for 3 touchdowns. The Roughriders won 33-19. The Roughriders won 8 games that year. It wasn't a magical season for them by any stretch of the imagination, but it was a magical day when Rocky Butler had that game. People still talk about that. That's 23 years ago now. In 1986, I remember going to Winnipeg for the Roughriders' second game of the year, and it was 56-0 Winnipeg. So, Labor Day that year, August 31st, 1986, you're thinking, geez, I don't want to see a repeat of what I saw in Winnipeg nearly 2 months earlier. The Riders won 34-30. Total miracle ending. Joe Paopao to Ray Elgard for a 56-yard touchdown in the final minute. Riders win 34-30. That's what can happen on Labor Day weekend. You just never know.
So he's getting a chance to come up big when it counts.
Less than 30 seconds to play.
He's open.
Going long. Elgard got it. Touchdown, Saskatchewan!
All the records go out the window on Labor Day weekend, but you'll never dispense with the tradition. You'll never dispense with the fun, the vibe, the energy, and in many cases the memories.
Like they just move it into the middle of the field for Kanji. Wilson calls quarterback draw. Look out! Barry Joseph touchdown! There's the right option.